KYCA. Happy Tuesday, guys. How are you doing, Matt?
Oh, okay. I was going to say, you got to pick which one of us goes first. And
I
it's
didn't
usually
know it
me.
was a
I'm
contest.
first. Drew's usually second.
That's the way it should be.
Beauty before age.
A beauty before age. I love that.
Yeah.
Especially
Especially with this bolo tie.
you
Aren't
do
you
look
jealous?
good. So he's got on a teal-colored golf shirt and an absolutely gorgeous black leather, sterling silver, and turquoise bolo tie. From where?
Black Arrow
That's a perfect
Jewelry
place.
and Art. Sorry, I didn't know what the second part is. I wasn't sure if it
Jewelry
was art and jewelry or jewelry and art, but it says jewelry and art. Black Arrow.
Well, you certainly do that piece of jewelry justice. Okay, I'm moving on now.
Oh,
Hey,
okay.
Drew-
Sorry. Yeah. I apologize. Drew, did you ride your motorcycle yesterday? There you go. Does that help?
Good morning,
yes,
Drew.
I did. Good morning.
You
How you
did.
doing?
You did ride yesterday.
Yes, a little bit.
Well, it was a lovely day yesterday. So let's just get into it. What's it going to be like today?
Well, if you liked yesterday, you're going to like today. It's going to actually be just a tad warmer. We're going to be in the low 60s. Light winds, and I mean light winds.
Oh, good.
Mostly clear. Good day to go golfing. Are you golfing after this?
Oh no, but I'm golfing Thursday in Phoenix.
Okay, well, in Phoenix it's going to be warmer, but I don't show any real high winds or anything. So, just hit them strong, hit them clean, hit them
That's
straight. You'll be okay.
what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, but pretty much we're going to be in the low 60s pretty much the whole week. It'll be very nice. Thursday night starts getting a little cloudy. We got a storm coming in, so we'll have to see what happens on the weekend. But it'll be a little bit more accurate the closer we get.
I tell you what, this has been the weirdest winter I think I've ever experienced because there just hadn't been, except for maybe 5 days.
Now, why'd you go on and have to jinx it now?
All right. You're
Come on.
you're absolutely right, but I don't have that much power. Let me just tell you.
Yes,
So-
you do.
Oh.
We just have to be positive and keep this good weather up. We'll get, if we get moisture, let's get it in rain.
Oh.
It's, it is middle of January,
I know. I'd rather have rain, truthfully.
Otherwise, February could be brutal.
Actually, you know what I was thinking earlier is that we're going to have a heck of a springtime. I bet it's going to snow and do all that other stuff in the spring, and we're going to not like that.
Well, let's just get it all done by April.
I'd love that. I'd absolutely love that. So, I did something very different this weekend. Ken and I and another couple went to Prescott Valley and ate at Sakura.
Oh, wonderful.
The sprawling metropolis of Prescott Valley. Did you survive? It's such a long drive, right?
Not if you go the back way,
Boy,
you
that
know.
sounded like Leza.
Long drive. I was in Chino, Dewey, Prescott, and Prescott Valley all yesterday.
Oh,
I was doing the tour of cities.
you do, and I'm assuming you had a customer in the car.
Not in the car, no. I was meeting customers all over. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's a good thing to do. But okay,
I
back
wanna
to
know
my
what
Okay,
she
story.
back to
eat.
Sakura. Yeah, we need to hear about your trip to Sakura.
Back to my story. Actually, it was just so much fun. I have to tell you, it was like a dinner and a show.
So you went for Top On.
We-
You had the Top On grill.
We did, if that's what you call it. I
Yes.
kept saying, "Oh, that looks like a hibachi to me."
No, it's Top On.
It was a show. And when was the last time you had broccoli thrown at your mouth off a spatula?
I want to say probably would have been last year around November.
Oh, so you went to Sakura then?
No, I was in Southern California with my daughter and grandkids,
Well, I tell you what,
and they love the show. They love the banging, and
Yep.
they make the volcano out of the onion rings. And
Yes.
see, it's all the
wait a minute. There must be a Top On school. Is that what it is, Top
Well,
On?
yeah, it actually started back when
Benihana.
Benihana first started, and they were training their chefs because they had nobody that could do that. I had a friend of mine who worked at Benihana. That's how I found out about this. And they went to a special school that Benihana supported, and now that's grown into an unbelievable business. So
I
yeah,
can
you gotta have some
imagine.
skill.
It's a large restaurant, and I tell you, those fans do a pretty good job taking the what smoke must be accumulated in that
Yeah.
dining room up and out.
So did you have a whole table, or just did you share with somebody? Or?
We shared with somebody.
Yeah.
We shared with a lovely family who sadly were in town for a memorial service of the mother of, anyway, another family.
Yeah.
Such a good time,
Well,
though.
Oh yeah,
Way
everybody
to-
has a good time. You meet people, and it's fun.
Way to be a Debbie Downer.
Why?
I mean, a memorial? That's
Oh, yeah.
rough.
But, you
But
know,
they went, at least they're having some fun.
well, and you know, I have always said we need to gather as families, not just around funeral time. And every time you go to a funeral gathering, you realize how neat it is to be around all those people again, and we should do it on a more festive occasion. But they were festive.
So are you encouraging the death of more people?
I don't think I have to encourage it. I think it's just
it's happening
gonna
as we
happen.
speak. They're dropping like flies.
Oh, well, actually, what I've always had this philosophy that people hang on through the holidays. They just want to hang on through the holidays. And I said to Ken last Sunday when I was reading the paper, I told you it's 2 pages worth of obits because it's after the holiday.
I'd rather do it during the holidays. Make everybody remember me every year when they're opening presents.
Oh. Okay, we're going to move on from this now.
I'll bring in the darkness. I'll bring you down, Carol.
Matt.
Don't do that. Let's not do that.
That's
Okay.
kind of my thing.
It is not. You're an hilarious fellow.
Yes, ma'am.
So today is
Yes.
National Disc Jockey Day. So this is for Leza's old live show because, you know, she's been spinning discs much of her life. But one of my favorite albums of all time when I was in the 8th grade, and I still remember it, was Alan Freed's Memory Lane. Do you by chance, Drew, remember Alan Freed?
I've heard the name. Again, we were on the West Coast, so most everything, you know, for us it was the guy who ended up with who did Whiskey a Go Go. Oh, it'll come to me.
Okay, well, anyway, apparently Alan Freed died in 1965. So I had one of his Memory Lane albums. And when I got together with my girlfriends from kindergarten through high school, we started getting together when we were 50. And I was saying how much I love that album, and one of my friends gave me a tape of it. It was just still as good as I remembered it. But
yeah.
anyway, he died in 1965, and as popular and renowned as he was, he died penniless, sadly. But the very first disc jockey was a 16-year-old engineering student from San Fernando, California, named Ray Newby. He was a newbie. He played a record during an experimental radio broadcast in 1909, instantly making him the coolest guy on campus. Because, you know, music just really does bring out the best in you, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely, and it always triggers a time. You'll hear a song and it'll bring you right back to the first day you ever heard that song, where you were, the people you were with, you know.
I absolutely agree with that. There are two things. There are two senses, my hearing of music and olfactory. Sometimes you smell something like those cooking onions that they used to push with fans outside of White Castles in Chicago. I mean, how can you
Wow.
ever forget? So you can't forget that smell and you can't forget a sound. What do you think?
I try not to.
Try not to think or
Yeah.
smell or hear.
Think. It hurts.
Well, definitely on the hearing, the music, we agree.
Yeah.
The smell of my grandmother's kitchen was
Oh.
always special, and unfortunately, haven't smelt that for a while.
Well,
but it's one of those unbelievables. You know, you'd walk in the house and be like, "Oh, my grandma's."
My grandma's. And those things just transport you back to that very moment. I really do love that. Okay, I have a story for you. And this one is really hard for me to believe. So it's saying that weight loss drugs could save airlines $500 million. Now, it's not that they're going to be selling them. They're saying that Ozempic is even making planes lose weight, sorta. They did the math and found that those weight loss drugs have slimmed down the average passenger so much that airlines don't need as much fuel to keep the airplanes airborne. They figure that they'll save Americans' biggest airlines more than $500 million this year just on jet fuel. Here's the thing that I just am having trouble believing. In 1987, American Airlines famously saved $40,000 on fuel by removing a single olive from each first class salad. I'm going to pause for effect. Can you believe that?
Well,
Wait,
I
they
know
serve
that-
salads on planes?
First class. Didn't you hear that part of it?
Oh, okay. All right. I was going to say, I usually just get a bag of peanuts, and even then, they've taken that away.
Well, they have because of those allergies.
You know, you think about it, but American Airlines, when they had their Advantage program, all right, the actual program, they said we were not going to supply programs anymore to save the weight. Think about how many pounds that was, right? And then they found out how much money they lost on the ad revenues on the back as everybody's flipping through and buying stuff. So they want to save they want to save
In one
fuel,
way.
but not at the cost of revenue.
Actually,
So,
that's
you
an
know,
interesting story. I never
Yeah.
had thought about it. But taking one olive off a salad in first class, which, you know, there's not a lot of first class seats, I found that absolutely amazing.
Well, figure out how many flights they have, how many average seats in first class over the year. You know, you're probably talking hundreds of thousands of olives.
Well, that's true. But I tell you, I saw an article online the other day about Ozempic face. They had a bunch of before and after pictures of Hollywood starlets that are on Ozempic and have claimed to be on Ozempic. And it shows some fat in their face and then none, so that they've got some saggy cheeks there. It really, there is such a thing as Ozempic face.
Do I have Ozempic face?
No.
Okay, good.
Good. We don't have to worry about that. By the way, okay,
Uh-oh.
Tyrus, who is on Greg Gutfeld, I don't know if you know who he is. He was a big wrestler guy.
Yes.
He's lost 160 pounds. And he will not go on any of these things. He says it's real easy. You got to burn more calories than you put in.
Oh, you sound like Ken.
And that's all he's doing. He eats X amount, but he burns X amount. He lost 160 pounds.
Well,
Granted, he was 410. He's 6'8" or 9. He's a big boy. But, 160 pounds, and he's done nothing other than, D-train, other than weight train. And Howie Long did the same thing as well. These are big, huge football guys that have slimmed down without the drugs.
I was just reading something about how Netflix is about to do a story on Jelly Roll, and who has also not taken drugs during his 300-pound weight loss, 300 pounds. And the reason he wouldn't take it is because he was afraid it would affect his singing voice.
Well, there's nothing that says it wouldn't.
Well, actually, when you think about it, I can remember when there was talk about how Barbra Streisand wouldn't have her nose fixed because it would have affected her singing. Well, a lot of people have fat in the back of their throats. That would probably affect their singing voice as well, huh?
Yeah. Freddie Mercury from Queen was the same thing. He wouldn't get his teeth done because he thought it would interrupt his singing. So
it really is amazing. They have a great gift, a gift that's given to them, so they take care of it. I love that. Okay, so let's talk about what the laziest city in the United States might be. Let's just guess where that might be. Matt.
I haven't been anywhere, so I don't know.
You've heard stories.
I don't. Florida, somewhere in Florida.
Oh no, I never think of sunny states as being the laziest for some reason.
Well, then you're thinking like Chicago or like Minneapolis or.
Oh, Minneapolis is they've got a lot of cooking going on there. So what do
I
you
was
think, Drew?
I was thinking, probably Key West. I was more than that, you go down there, man. Nobody's in a hurry to do anything.
Oh, well, that's true. There is.
You know?
Well,
Hey, I was thinking Florida.
Yeah,
Yeah.
South Florida,
I'm
not northern
amazed.
Florida.
I'm absolutely amazed. It's not. Okay, it's Laredo, Texas.
That doesn't make sense.
I don't know. I think it's because
I've been there too.
who had. Wait a minute. I've been through there. To me, that's a go through city. Um, it's it's the newly crowned laziest city. For one thing, people just don't move much. A new Wallet Hub study found folks in Laredo barely ever walk or bike. They had three times fewer active adults than Seattle, which now ranks as the most active city in the country. It's also the place with the fewest gyms, tennis and basketball courts, and public swimming pools. And its car dependent design hasn't made it easier to do chores on foot. That really is true. I mean, I'm really surprised that Phoenix is so healthy because it's so spread out. You can't walk places there.
It's because the healthy people keep moving there.
Yeah.
It skews the outcome. I absolutely can see that. So I have a sad study for you, Matt.
Why did you?
Because it said sad.
I'm
That's you.
yeah, I guess I'm the
Well,
sad
you
one.
know, you've been pushing that sad card all morning, so I
I
thought
push
I'd just
it every day.
I'm with her, man.
Yeah, let's.
Okay, I want the happy story then.
I don't have one.
Okay.
Now, a new study has found that being single into your 30s can actually affect your health. So, your mom is never going to shut up about finding that right person.
See, that's why you're thinking of me, Carol. Good Lord.
Researchers at the University of Zurich found that younger single men in particular were more likely to develop depression the longer they went solo. Single women weren't that much off, reporting depression leading to headaches, insomnia, and digestive issues. So don't keep last year's New Year's resolution. Get out there and get it.
But I'm well past 30.
You are well past 30, and
Yeah.
we are happy that you're here. So, on that fine note, we're going to take a break.
I know. I gotta talk about my jewelry.
Oh my gosh! And it looks so beautiful on you. Brings out your
I know.
eyes.
So give me a minute. I gotta get up and run around so everybody can see the camera. So hold
Okay.
on, please.
So I'm going to just tell you again that this is a beautiful, absolutely beautiful bolo tie with with sterling silver detail, unbelievable. The ends of that bolo tie have significant amounts of sterling silver, and the plaiting on the leather on that bolo tie is exquisite.
Yeah. So okay. I think I don't know if that worked. Did it look okay? I don't know.
You look beautiful.
Well, I mean, I know
Nobody
I do.
was looking at you. They were looking at the jewelry.
I hope so. So I'm gonna put it up here on the screen. Here, hold on. There we go. Okay, there. Now everybody can see it even better. But let's see. So hold on. Let me get the. Oh, okay. So, all right. I've got to admit something. I'm not usually a bolo tie guy, but this one of a kind changed my mind. This is a Nevada blue turquoise bolo tie by Leonard Nez, and it's from Black Arrow Native American Jewelry and Art right here in Prescott. The stone is a Nevada blue turquoise, that deep sky blue color with the webbed matrix that looks like it's carrying a little history with it. It's set in a solid sterling silver with Leonard Nez's hand-stamped Navajo designs, paired with a braided leather cord and silver tips. Classic, but not over the top. This piece really bridges generations. It tips its hat to the Old West, but it fits the fashion of today. And honestly, in Prescott, this just feels right. If you want to see what a modern bolo looks like when it's done right, check this one out at Black Arrow Jewelry and Art on Gurley Street.
And we'll be right back. Good morning again. It's Carol Chamberlain on for the lovely Leza live on the news 103.5 KYCA. So happy to have with us Chris Kotke, who crackerjack attorney. Let me just tell you, crackerjack attorney.
Is that
Welcome.
good? Is it Cracker Jack?
Crackerjack is great.
Okay, got it.
Well, you're pretty svelte. You ever had a crackerjack?
Oh, of course,
Whew.
of course. But I didn't know the reference Cracker Jack attorney was a good thing.
It's a great thing. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, it's a great thing. I'm a crackerjack lover. So I am really excited you're with us, Chris, because I've been doing a series called A Day in the Life of. And as I sit across from you, I realize you've had three distinct careers. So we're going to have 3 days in 3 lives of one Chris Kotke.
All right.
So I know that you have a family that served in the military and law enforcement for 85 years or so. So you have a long history of service before self. Would you say that?
Yeah, I mean, both of my grandfathers served in World War II. My parents didn't serve in the military, so there was kind of a break there. But I think that was a product more of timing, probably. You know, people born in the 40s, Vietnam was in the 70s and
Yes.
late 60s. So, you know, luck of the draw. My dad wasn't, you know, he wasn't brought in. But no, I volunteered to go into the military in law school. So I wasn't the guy coming out of high school.
Oh, wow.
You know, it took me another 10 years or so. Yeah, my first year of law school, right after my first semester of law school, actually, I applied to become a JAG.
What drew you?
I don't know. I think again timing. At that time, it was 1989, 1990. The marketplace wasn't great. I was only top third of my law class, so it was only the top 10 folks that were getting recruited, you know, for the summer clerk jobs,
Oh,
and then that leads to a position.
Certainly.
So it was still, you know, not a great marketplace. And I thought that the military and service would be a great way to get experience, you know, and it really turned out great. I served for 8 years between the Navy and the Air Force.
So, because of the tragic demise of Rob Reiner, A Few Good Men has been shown a lot, and people have seen either a part of it or all of it again. So, he was a JAG.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise was
Yeah.
a JAG. You have a little story about that. Didn't your mother say something to you? Did she see that
Oh,
movie?
I'm sure she did. Of course she did. Yeah. So when I was graduating from NJS, Naval Justice School, the last week before that movie came out, we were graduating. So we went through, what was it, 10 weeks, and so on the 10th week, they opened that movie, and we were going to graduate the next week. So we went as a class to the
How cool.
local theater in Newport, Rhode Island. Again, this is back in, what was that, 1992? Yeah, it was in November 1992. And saw that. And it was a lot of fun. And a couple of guys kept saying my last name when they'd show Tom Cruise up there. So back in the day, I guess I favored him just a little bit. I was kind of a crackerjack back then.
A crackerjack, very good. But so for those of us who really aren't familiar with the military, what does JAG mean?
Judge Advocate General. So that is those are the lawyers in the military.
So I'm guessing, is military law different from civilian law?
Yeah, you know, your client is different. Your client is the Navy, and of course, again, I served 4 years in the Navy. I did an inter-service transfer to the Air Force, so it was for me, Navy and Air Force was my client in both of those. When you're put in a position to represent the individual members of the military. So you're a subset then. So my client is not the Navy. My client then becomes that person who's accused if it's a defendant.
Oh, gotcha.
Right. So when I did command services, I represented the command. So when I was in Gulfport, Mississippi at the CB base, I was a CB for a year. And my grandfather was a construction guy, so he was proud of that I was at the CB base there for 9 months. But anyway, your client changes if you're representing an individual military member. That's your client. So
Sure.
you defend that client. If you're representing the government, the Navy, as prosecutor, which I did that for months, you prosecute.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That made me open my eyes wider. I want to hear a lot more about this, but we have to take a break, so we'll be right back after this.
Sure.
Welcome back. It's Carol Chamberlain in for the lovely Leza LaChapelle Dandos on the News 103.5 KYCA, talking with Chris Kotke. And I have to ask you a question. What's a CB? You talked about CB. What's a CB?
A CB is famously John Wayne played a CB in a movie, and I don't know the year and I don't know the name, but it might be the CBs.
We'll call it that.
And CB is Construction Battalion.
Okay.
And that was formed back in World War II, or just prior to build bases. Literally, they go and deploy with a ship. They go on a ship, they offload them, and they build a little mini town.
Wow.
To support infrastructure for the troops that are coming to go fight. So their motto is we build, we fight, or we fight. Yeah, we build, we fight. So I was the staff judge advocate, meaning I was the general counsel for the base commander at the CB base in Gulfport, which is NMCB 1. The first one is the 1st CB Construction Battalion. That was a great job.
Oh, a great job. And
Yeah.
I'm assuming your grandfather would have been proud of you because he was a CB.
He wasn't a CB. He was actually a superintendent of services at a small base just outside of Chicago, and he was a civilian. But he could build anything. I mean, he could do from plumbing, build houses and everything in between. And he did that for over 30 years at that base. It was a little air base outside of, it's no longer in operation. But yeah, no, he thought it was cool that I was the SJA there down in Gulfport.
Isn't it great to be able to please your grandparents in one way or another?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I understand that you were a defense counsel, you were a prosecutor, you did it all.
I did.
So is there a case that stands out in your mind when you were in this 8 years between the Navy and the Air Force?
A couple cases. One, I was a prosecutor I was pulled in because of my experience in the Navy. When I was in the Air Force, I was pulled in as a special assistant U.S. attorney, and I prosecuted a guy that was pummeling his spouse at the BX there. And yeah,
ouch.
it was a bad case. 3-day trial. We did get the conviction. So I'm proud of that. And It was a good case to prosecute for me in my civilian. So when you're doing that as a uniform officer, they appoint you for the Department of Justice side for anything that occurs on that base. So you got to put your monkey suit on, as I say, with my coat and tie, and then you go into a magistrate court to prosecute those civilian cases. So I did that. As a JAG in the Navy, so going back about 3 or 4 years, I defended a bunch of nasty people that were rolling back from the Gulf War.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. And my area of responsibility was Texas, Oklahoma, and part of Louisiana. So I had a guy who was a Navy cook in Dallas, Texas, who tried to kill his wife.
oh, ouch.
Yeah, he hired a legit hitman in Dallas, and it was terrible. She was pregnant. She had a child. They had a child, and he wanted her gone. He bought insurance, and this guy ended up on Montel Williams prior to trial.
What?
And we said, "Don't do it. Don't do it."
Oh my gosh.
Me and my co-counsel said, "Don't do it."
And
He did it. And
why?
I don't know. He was a narcissist, like off the chart. E6, E7, Navy, E6, I think, Navy cook, and he was stationed there at the Dallas Naval Air Station. And anyway, he went on, and then they used that. They rolled the tape. The government got up and rolled the tape, and I looked over at him, and I wrote on the little piece of paper, "I told you so."
Oh, golly.
So
Well, why would anybody do that? Was he trying to tamper with the jury pool, or?
yeah, he was trying to tamper with his trial. He told Montel Williams that he was just kidding. That was the whole essence of the these spouses.
What a
psycho
defense!
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
I'm just kidding. So we were stuck with it because he's up there telling Montel, 2 or 3 months prior, and they rolled it. That was Exhibit A. Yeah, I stood up and objected. Blah blah blah. Judge says, "Sit down." Mr. Cocky or Lieutenant, sit down. So we had to sit there and watch this, and we're like holding head in hand, trying not to look like we're bothered by this thing. But anyway, he ended up getting 7 years.
Only 7
Yeah, he got
years for
7
trying
years.
to kill his pregnant wife.
Yeah. You see that a lot. It's amazing. Observe this generally in culture. You get these guys, these people, and I'm not encouraging anyone out there. But they hire third parties, and they never get what that third party gets as a sentence. It's always, soliciting to commit murder type deal is a lesser somehow. It shouldn't be.
Oh, no. Well, no. Outcome is the same
Yeah.
often. So the only question I have about this part of your experience, you went from the Navy to the Air Force.
I did.
Why?
Inter-service transfer. My goal was to get my LLM in tax. I wanted to be an estate planner ultimately. I wasn't going to serve forever in my mind's eye.
Oh, sure.
And so I took a chance. The professor at the University of Alabama said he's going to start a program. So I had to get to Alabama. This was diabolical, but this actually worked out. So I went from Corpus Christi for 3 years, almost a year in Gulfport, and then I did a day-to-day transfer from the Navy to the Air Force, and they don't do a lot of those. It's got to be needs of the service first. And they agreed in writing to put me in Montgomery, Alabama. So I did government contract work in Alabama, and I went to night school and got my LLM in tax at the University of Alabama. So it's pretty cool.
So that is a master's of taxation, correct?
Yeah. After law school, you go back for 2 years, and you can specialize in other subfields. So interest was tax and estate planning.
So what do you think sparked that interest in tax and estate planning? Because, it's a fabulous area of the law.
I have a business degree from the University of South Florida. I love business. I love accounting. I like structure. That's why I like the law, that sort of thing. But I don't know why. I love estate planning. It's what I do now. I do it part-time now here in town. But I've always wanted to do that, and that was my goal to go through it that way.
A wonderful plan. It has worked out for you. We're going to be right back after this and talk a little bit more about your estate planning days. Be right back. Again, it's Carol Chamberlain in for Leza live on the news 103.5 KYCA, talking with Chris Kotke, attorney, past military man, and the next phase is judge. But we're going to talk right now about your estate planning career. Interesting that you have a master's in taxation, estate planning, probate, and business transactions is what you focus on. Well, you focused on for a while,
Mhm.
and
Yes.
you're part-time focusing on it again. And thank you very much. Ken and I appreciated that. So tell us what you like the best about being an estate planning attorney.
I like bringing the certainty to people. Like you had mentioned earlier, I was listening to you. Death is a certainty, and there's nothing worse than not having your affairs in order before you go. And does it affect you? No, but it certainly affects your loved ones if you haven't planned, appropriately.
It's so true. And while so many people have a hard time looking at it and even getting started, I mean, I can say this from personal experience. I remember saying to you, I need to stop this so I can go back to my phase of denial
Yeah.
about where I am in my life.
Right.
So it is hard to start, but such a good feeling to finish.
It is, and that relief that is in the face of your clients. When you're done with it, when you sign and you sit down and you chat a little bit about what you just accomplished, you can always see that. And my buzz phrase is, you're good to go.
Literally.
At this point. So I say that to everybody, and the relief is, and sometimes people circle back and they'll send me a little note because I communicate with all of them via email. They'll say, "Man, I am so relieved this is over. Thank you." Whatever.
It's really true. So
yeah, it's a good feeling.
what is your one of the things I have to say about you is that you're such a good teacher. You walk in your office, you sit down, and you bring out this whiteboard and you start making stick figures and talking about what goes where. What do you think is the most important thing for people to consider in their estate plan?
Well, there are several things. In terms of order, I would say the first is making sure your accounts, all of your assets are titled the way you want them titled, because that's the biggest surprise. As an estate planning guy, probate person who has been doing this since 2000. So I've been practicing law since 92, but as I said, 8 of those years were in the military, so I wasn't doing estate and business. But from 2000 forward, 26 years now, the biggest surprise is people don't know where their stuff is titled. And that is everything from cars, houses, and brokerage accounts. And they don't understand the maze that occurs when you're dead. You're gone. Now there's no redoing it. Right? So if title is messed up, meaning if it's not in the right box where it's supposed to go, you have issues, a lot of issues. So I think that's the biggest thing people need to focus on is, hey, where is the title to this IRA? Who is going to take it when I pass?
Well, and the other thing that you were also talking about is people set up trusts. So many people these days have trusts.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, if every single thing that you own is not in that trust, a probate, which is what people are trying to escape when they have a trust, is going to be sparked.
Yes.
Right?
That's correct. Yeah, that again goes back to the title issue. So we create this trust, and this is my pet peeve. You'll have people out there, and I won't mention any names, of course.
Oh, come on.
I will not. But they create this trust, they bill their client, and they say, here, now go title all your assets, instead of ensuring that it really hits home that every asset, house, rental property in Colorado, this brokerage account, this savings account. It could be the small, well, a lot of clients will go, well, that's so small. We don't have to worry about that little account. Well, guess what? That little account is going to trigger a probate when you go and there is no named beneficiary. Or it's not, like, as you said, it needs to be titled in the trust where it can.
Right.
Now, what can't be titled in the trust are the IRAs and other deferred compensation assets.
Right.
So you got to make sure your beneficiary designations there are perfect as well.
so much to be learned and thought about. Can you think of a specific interesting case in your probate life that was just hard or interesting or fun?
Yeah, I had a litigated. I wouldn't call it fun.
Depends on who's looking.
Yeah, I had a litigated wealthy guy from Oklahoma. This is all public record, so I'm not saying anything, meaning we were litigating this in the court. Second wife did not want a an autopsy. The children, the wealthy kids from Oklahoma wanted it. So one person the children snuck in the house, took the guy in a Learjet or Gulfstream off of the mountain in Sedona. True story. Flew him back to Oklahoma City. The wife, wealthy, not so much as the children, but wealthy enough, sneaks him back from Oklahoma City back to Prescott, and he dies here.
Oh my gosh!
And so the kids accused the second wife of wrongdoing. So that was litigated between me and a big firm in Phoenix.
Oh, what?
And another big firm in Oklahoma City, and there was a lot of hubbub.
So were you representing the second wife?
Yes. Yes.
Did you win? Oh, who wins? I mean,
I was going to say define win.
Exactly.
I won, and that my kids went through school.
Oh,
you
God,
understand?
Yeah. I absolutely understand.
Without a problem.
That's,
So who really wins? No, I'm kidding.
I know
No.
that. I know that.
The court found the proper result. Let's just put it that way.
Okay,
How about
I'm actually really glad to hear that. There are a lot of things that you have to think about. Expensive artwork
Mhm.
oftentimes comes
yeah.
something that people don't think about. Have you
Oh,
ever
yeah.
had any experience with that?
Oh, sure. Lots of it. I had a litigated artwork case.
Well,
in a
tell
big
us.
firm out of Chicago. We don't have enough time, but long and short of it is there is no title on artwork. Go
What?
figure, yeah. So what happens is people make claim to certain things, and again, if your estate trust is not put together properly, and you're not properly identifying that artwork, or you have not made provision for that before you go, rest assured that people will come in and go, "Gosh, I'd love to have that piece right there," and then oftentimes it'll walk. You
Oh
know?
my gosh.
Yeah.
So you really do have to be careful with beneficiary designations because that
Yes.
art piece should have been given to someone through a beneficiary designation, right?
Exactly, through the trust.
Any
And you should be able to do it when you're alive. That's the whole point. Is when I go, I'm ready. I want it. I know that this will go to this person under these terms, etc. That should be the way it is.
actually, and it's a lot to think about, and sometimes it can change. But we'll talk about that when we get right back after this break. Welcome back. It's Carol Chamberlain on the News 103.5 KYCA talking with Chris Kotke about. So far, we've talked about 2 of your 3 careers. So I think we need to move into the fact that you were a Superior Court judge.
I was.
When did that start, and why did that start?
I
What
was-
made you decide?
I was at that point. I get restless in my career, as you can see. I move around. I was also a sheriff's deputy back in the day. That's how this all started in the mid '80s. But I became a judge. I was appointed in 2016 by Judge Mackey to do weekend hearings for juveniles
Okay.
over at the juvenile court here, and I was like a backup for the judge that did that full time on the weekends, and then that was fun. I enjoyed it. So in 2017, I applied, went through the rigorous vetting process, and Judge Mackey appointed me to be Pro Tem B, and I was assigned over to the Verde for almost 4 years, just shy of 4 years.
And was it everything you expected it to be or more?
I enjoyed it. It was a great experience. I think judging is not for everybody.
I can imagine
Yeah.
that.
So it was a fire hose for me. I had civil litigation. I had criminal. I had 21 full-blown court trials with members,
Wow.
with jury members in that period of time. So it's just moving. And I did early disposition. I did probate litigation. I did drug court for 2.5 years. So I was in all these assignments, and you're just going and going. And I'm not lazy. I enjoyed it. I learned a lot, but I didn't want to continue to do that for years and years and years.
I can understand.
know?
And again, getting restless is a hard thing when you're
Yeah.
in a seat. So, how are cases with unclear law or conflicting precedents handled? Does the judge have a lot of flexibility to determine?
Well, the jury, the fact finder, will always find what the facts are. The judge's job is to determine what the legal issues are and handle those in typically pretrial motions. More often than not, they're kind of mixed together, the fact and the legal. So your job is to be a fair and neutral arbiter of those issues, and it's just a day-to-day process doing that stuff.
Was there ever a time that you can remember thinking, I don't agree with what's going on. This is not right.
Yes. Yeah.
How-
But I had to follow the law. Yes. And what I do is I go upstairs to Judge Bluff. I hope he's listening. Go upstairs and just commiserate and just say, I can't believe I have to do X. And he's like, well, that's what the legislature and the governor have ordered in that statute, so you're going to have to do that.
See, I can imagine that would feel like having your hands tied
Yes.
in a position where you're the arbiter, or is that the right word? You're the
It's fair enough. Yep.
okay. So
You're the judge.
I can remember when I was in high school, I got to be judge for a day, and I said, I'm going to be so mean. I'm going to be blah, blah. And then this woman came in and had been writing hot checks to feed her family, and I melted like a candle. So
Yeah.
I can imagine how hard that might be.
I think most judges fall into that. It's interesting you say that, because you always get that ahead of the thing. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But what you find, and we've got great judges here, is they fall into that middle ground of really trying to be fair. Because what takes over is your human nature, your empathy, your compassion, your sympathy, all those combined with your experiences as a person in this world. And you put those together and you get a very fair-minded group of people.
I can imagine, and I can also imagine that you would want to be able to use all your life's experience, your emotion, to have more of an impact than following a guideline that is set for you, which is...
Yeah.
So we only have a minute left, and I could go on like this for hours, but we can't. So is there anything of your 3 careers that you are the proudest of, that stays with you the most, that you'd like to share?
I love all of them. I'd say there's four careers with the law enforcement. So
Right.
law enforcement was as important to me. But I have arrived. I have the most fun job. I'm a part-time estate planning and trust attorney. I work by word of mouth, and to me, that's the greatest place to be.
Well, and I got to tell you, from my word of mouth, you were very, very helpful to Ken and me, and we certainly do appreciate that. And I would love to sit here and talk about how you're a black belt in something, but we don't have time. So it's been great,
Yeah.
Chris Kotke. Thanks
Yeah.
for joining us. And to our listening audience, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye now.